Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Birthright podcast. My name is Taylor, and I will be your guide on this journey into the real and raw conversations that modern women are having who want to remember the ancient ways. And if you're new here, we don't leave any stone unturned here when it comes to talking about our bodies, our hormones, our cycles, our relationships with other people, and community and spirituality, which is a lot of what we're going to dive into today, specifically around the community piece. And before we go into that, if you're watching the video, I just had to show off my newest design for my fashion brand, Edge of Ether. It's not something I've talked about on here much, but I designed these gorgeous capes that are handmade in India by a team of artisans that I've been working with for the last year and a half, and they just instantly transform you into feeling like a goddess, which today, honestly, I've been feeling like a goddess. So I was like, why not put my cape on? But even if you're not feeling like one, put it on, boom, you're good to go. Truly, I feel like I'm wearing this armor, like nobody can mess with me. So I just wanted to point that out, that I am, by the time this episode comes out, I will have the new collection dropped online. So you can check that out at edgeofether.com and enjoy, play, dress up, wear the thing, buy the thing that makes you happy. That's what I always tell people. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about something that is really alive on my heart, which is women's circles. I attended my first women's circle, honestly, just last year in 2025. And since then, I have hosted my own. I've hosted women's retreats. I've attended several. I've experienced different facilitators. I even took a course on it of how do I be the best circle facilitator. Very like me to always want to take a course for something. And here's a hot tip. You don't need to take a course to host a women's circle. Just listen to this podcast, because in the episode today, I'm going to talk through just my experience with them and why they're important, why they're needed, and what to expect when you go to one. Maybe you've never been to one before, which if that's the case, I am so excited for you to experience it. And then I'll also just give some tips on how to host your own, if that's something that calls to you, and also where to find some. So where can you find some that are happening in your local community? So in the last 4 days, I hosted my very first women's circle here in Colorado, my first one in my new home. I put the invitation out there in a Facebook group, and I had 4 total strangers show up at my house. I couldn't believe it, because I was that's one of the keys, is being unattached to the outcome of when you put an offering out there, and just trusting that the people who need it will be the people who find it. And if no one finds it, then that's okay. You just try again another time. You don't get too attached to it. So I was like, I have no idea who's going to show up, because the only people I know here could not make it. So I had 4 women show up so on time, so punctual to our circle. 4 total strangers. They didn't know each other either, and I couldn't believe the trust that they put into me. None of them had ever come to a women's circle before, so they truly had no idea what they were walking into. And they just showed up. They showed up for themselves because they felt the call. And last night, I went to another women's circle that a dear friend of mine hosted, and it was so sweet. But 2 women in the circle were sharing about things that were happening in their lives, and they used these words: it's killing me. It's killing me. When I heard 2 different women say that, my heart was just breaking. The theme that has been coming up around so many women that I'm talking to and coming into contact with right now is that women are exhausted. Women are tired of holding it all, of doing it all, of just maintaining this never-ending to-do list and this never-ending productivity standard. And if you didn't listen to the last episode, I talk about the art of doing nothing, which feels like so timely, because I was sitting in this circle feeling like, for maybe one of the first times in my life, that wow, I see them, I feel them, but that's not me right now. I really feel like I have been mastering the art of presence and not overworking myself and drawing boundaries. I know it because I walked it, of that this is one of the biggest challenges that women today face. And truly, when I heard them say that, it like stopped me in my tracks. I was like, oh, they're being killed. Like, that's so brutal. And I want to do something about it. And so this episode is for you because I feel like these circle spaces are one of the keys to helping women to reconnect to themselves and to be witnessed in their journey and to not have to carry it all alone. So if you have never been to a circle, like, this is going to be your full-on introduction. And if you have been, this is your reminder on why it matters. So what's actually going on here for me to sit in two different circles with two totally different groups of women and feel this theme of just being exhausted? My theory is that it's women who are carrying the weight of things without being seen in them. We live in a culture that deeply prioritizes productivity and punishes when you have a need, when you have a real, actual need, that there's not a lot of space to share that. And I believe women have internalized that so deeply that we have created all of these different compartments within ourselves of where our needs go. We don't want to burden anyone else. We are always making sure that we're showing up for others. We have so many people in our lives that are relying on us to be that thing for them. And so many women don't have anyone holding space for them. There's just not a lot of spaces in our modern world where we can show up and say, I am not okay right now. I'm not okay right now. And it not feel like it's a confession or a crisis or something that needs to be fixed. And I can personally feel the shift that women are hungry right now for that spaciousness, to be seen in their realness. We're craving connection. We're craving to get away from behind the screens, from behind the constant, endless flow of consumption, to not only be seen in our experience of life, but also to witness others and realize that we are not alone in everything that we're going through. So, what actually is a women's circle? What really defines it is that it is a held space. So there is structure and there is intention behind it. And it's called a women's circle because we're usually sitting in a circle, believe it or not. I love smaller, more intimate groups, from anywhere from 4 to 10, 12 people max, to really keep it intimate and to give everyone an adequate amount of time to share. Now, it's not networking, it's not a book club, it's not a therapy session, but it does combine some of the most beautiful elements from all of that. What it's typically going to look like is there will be some kind of opening ritual, which can either be a shared breath together, it could be the lighting of a candle to signify the opening of the circle. It could be a song, and then there will be structured sharing. So I personally love having some kind of talking stick that goes around, and each woman has the same amount of time to fill and to share. So there's typically a question. One of my favorite questions is, how are you, really? Like, beyond the surface level, I'm good, how are you? No, no one's ever just good. If someone tells me good, I say, what does good feel like? So there's usually a theme or a question, and then each woman gets a chance to share. And whoever is holding the space, holding the circle, is tracking time, which is so important that everyone gets an equal amount of time. And you don't have to fill the time if you don't want to. And you don't even have to share if you don't want to. If you're purely there out of wanting to witness others, that is totally welcome as well. Just make sure that you make that intention clear at the beginning of the circle so your host knows. And everyone gets to speak. That's the key, is that everyone's voice gets brought in. And one of the most powerful things about a circle is the opportunity to practice active listening. So this is listening without jumping in to fix or to coddle or to make sure someone's okay. Because a lot of times when women are just given the freedom to answer this question, how are you really? Tears come. I don't think I've been to a single women's circle where someone didn't cry. And we're used to in our life of, if we express that kind of emotion, someone's like, oh my gosh, don't cry, or are you okay? And a circle is a space where you just get to be witnessed in that, and you get to be witnessed in your sovereignty of holding yourself and holding your own emotions, which I think is such a powerful practice. So there's no coaching and there's no fixing either. And it's important that those rules or agreements are stated at the beginning of a circle so that everyone knows and everyone is on the same page. So each woman gets to share, and then there's some type of gesture after she shares to honor her, usually like a bow or saying, I see you, and then the next person shares, and that's it. That's it. And then there's a closing ritual to close the energy of the space, to give everyone else's energy back to them, and then you're on your way. And for women who might be newer to this, I know that there's hesitations that come up of, what if I don't know anyone? What if I start crying? What if I'm not woo-woo or spiritual? And the answer to all of those is that you just do it anyway. You don't have to know people for a circle to work. I proved that on Sunday. That was my first time hosting a women's circle where I didn't know anyone who was coming. And it was absolutely beautiful and exactly what everyone needed. Now, why does this concept of a women's circle, why does it work? Why do women leave feeling a little bit lighter, or that they can breathe a little bit deeper? And really what happens is there's seeing that happens in a circle. When one woman shares something that is true for her out loud, the whole room exhales. I've seen this happen time and time again, where as the circle goes on, usually the last few people who share are like, I can see myself in you and you and you and you. Like, whoa, I just got chills in my whole body, because it is so validating to know that we are not alone in our experience. It's like there's a lot going on out there. There's very few of us have a practice built into the day where we're even just like stopping to take a couple deep breaths. And if you do, good for you. Like, that's amazing. And if you don't, try it out. If you're sitting in your car, just some time to take some breaths and check in with yourself. Because that's really what the circle space and structure allows for, is this relaxation of the nervous system to feel safe, to feel community, to feel connection, and to be witnessed and to see others. The collective recognition of, wow, that's exactly how I feel. It's not just like a mental, intellectual thing that's happening. There are things that are actually shifting in your body and your nervous system that you will carry outside of that circle experience. As women, we are wired for connection, for co-regulation, for sharing experiences with others. And we live in isolation these days. We have these four walls around us, especially if you're a woman that works from home, if you're an entrepreneur or a remote worker. I mean, there are very few opportunities throughout the day to get to have meaningful interactions with others. And maybe you're having interactions with others, but they don't go deep. And that's what this space does, and how it creates that co-regulation and a shared reality with others. We used to live in intergenerational communal structures, and it's really not that long ago that was happening, where these types of interactions were easier to encounter throughout the day. But now, in our modern world, we have to make time and space for it. Another point I want to make on why circles work is that there are no leaders in the circle. There's certainly someone that is holding the container and the structure and the timing and the ritual of it all, but each person, including the person holding the space, gets to share equally. And there is no hierarchy. So it's truly this communal experience. Everyone gets held in the same way. Everyone is witnessed in the same way. So maybe this all sounds intriguing to you if you've never been to one and you're like, well, where do I find this? I think it's in the field right now for sure that people are starting to see the impact and the benefit of gathering as women in community with this like equal opportunity sharing concept, because I'm seeing women's circles everywhere. I was at the gym yesterday and there was an advertisement that the gym here is hosting a women's circle for women who are interested in working out, healthy lifestyle. Check yoga studios, check your community centers like rec centers, Facebook pages. If you search Women's Circle and then your town or city's name, I guarantee you there will be Facebook pages that come up. There will be Reddit pages that come up. You could search it on Instagram too and see if you can find anything there. And just take a chance. You know, if you're feeling drawn to, I always like to check out who is the leader, because I want to make sure there's someone that I actually want to share space with. You know, God bless everyone who's hosting a circle, but I do not belong in everyone's circles. And that's okay. And it's okay to go to a circle and be like, that was not for me. But it's not the format that wasn't a fit. It's really just the dynamics of the circle that wasn't a fit for you. So don't give up on circles. Just know that that one wasn't for you. And pat yourself on the back, because it is a courageous act to show up to an event where you don't know anyone and you don't really know what to expect. And you're just putting yourself out there, especially when it comes to sharing vulnerably. And I will say some circles have sequences, seasons, specific monthly or bi-weekly gatherings. And the more that you can really drop in with a group where you have this kind of repetitive meeting, then the deeper you are able to go. It's pretty easy for me to just be like, here is everything that is going on in my life, and I'm like an open book. But I understand that doesn't come super easily to everyone, and sometimes there's trust that needs to be built first. So that can be something cool too, to look for circles that have more of that repetitive structure, so you can continue building and deepening. And also just ask around. More women are hosting these than you might think. So ask your community, have you heard of any women's circles? And express your interest in wanting to try one. Now, when I look at who is hosting a circle, just going back to that point, you just want to make sure that it's someone that is setting clear boundaries and clear structure, agreement, and the most important agreement of the circle is explicit confidentiality and no recording of things that happen in the circle. Just committing to not taking anyone's experience that they shared so vulnerably outside of it. So make sure if you're looking for things that the hosts, they do have some agreements in place, because that's what really makes it different than we're just meeting up. Like, this actually has a structure and agreements to hold that circle shape. And give yourself permission to try more than one if you're open to it. Each circle I've been in has a different flavor, a different energy. So it might take a couple to find the right fit for you, but as you continue going to them, you might start picking up on things that you're like, now I'm starting to get an idea of what kind of circle actually feels right to me, and maybe you can't find it, and maybe you want to host your own. There can never be enough women's circles, in my opinion. So if you're living somewhere where there's a ton of them, it doesn't matter. It's not something that can be oversaturated. It's truly a meaningful contribution to society if every woman was involved in a circle where, at least on a monthly basis, they had an opportunity to just share openly, freely, without anyone needing to fix them, without taking on anyone else's things, I believe that this world would be different. I believe that women would not be so tired. I believe that women wouldn't be exhausted and losing their light and their radiance. And that's why it means so much to me. So if you're looking to host your own, again, you don't need a certification, you don't need a course, you don't need the perfect space, you don't need to rent a space or studio. I did mine in my backyard, sitting in the grass, told everyone to bring a snack, and that was it. It cost me just the cost of my snacks. So it doesn't have to cost you money. I hosted a free circle, but I have hosted circles where I'm asking for a contribution, especially if I'm like making a dinner for everyone or something like that. So that's an option. But really, all that you need is a space, a good amount of time, a few women, and just holding a simple structure. Starting small is key. So start with just 4 to 8 women and decide if you feel like you can hold the space for more or if the timing felt right for more. I love to have at least 5 minutes for each woman to share. So you can kind of structure it based around that. The way that I structured the one I hosted on Saturday was it was an hour and a half total, or on Sunday, sorry. It was an hour and a half total. Not sorry. I am stopping saying sorry. I say sexy instead, so sexy. So an hour and a half total. The first 30 minutes were just gathering, mingling, having snacks, and just getting to know each other because we didn't know each other at all. And then we had an hour for the actual circle time. And then at the end, we had about 15 minutes left for just kind of final chit chat, asking any questions, just having some deeper conversations one-on-one, because when the circle is happening, there is no direct feedback to anyone. So at the end, if there's time and space, you can offer an open floor if anyone wants to ask a question or seek support in a certain way, then they get to ask for it. But remember, the structure of the actual circle, all you need to do is have some type of opening marker or an opening ritual, a breath, a candle, a certain song, a meditation, a drop-in, and then equal sharing time for every woman, and make sure you're keeping time. I love to use the Insight Timer app. It has just a really nice meditation bell that's like super calming. And what I do is when a woman has 2 minutes left to share, that I will like make some kind of signal, this is what I do, but I'm flapping my arms out like wings just to kind of get their attention and let them know they have 2 minutes left and kind of land the plane, and then the timer will go off at 2 minutes, and then we bow, honor that woman, and it's on to the next woman. And then closing with intention. So one of my favorite closing rituals is to have everyone clap on the count of 3. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, and we clap. And that just like closes and seals the circle, like the containment of that energy. It's not leaving the circle. You're not leaving, taking on someone else's challenges or trials and tribulations. You're coming back into yourself, back into your own energy, and releasing it all back to the others. And the most important thing as a host is to, 1, stay calm. Even if you're super nervous, you can name it. Say like, oh, I noticed that I'm feeling a lot of nerves right now, but I'm so grateful you all showed up. Have a lack of an agenda. So don't be like trying to sell them something, or, it's really meant for community sharing and gathering. So make it just about that. And just be willing to let whatever comes up and whatever transpires in the circle, let that be enough. Release any expectations or outcomes that you are holding on to so tight of like, oh, it needs to be the best circle ever. Just let all of that go and trust that everything that happens in the circle is exactly what everyone who showed up there, that unique constellation of souls, that's exactly what they needed. When I hosted my circle on Sunday, I still felt nervous, and I've done this a lot of times, but I still felt really like anxious of, oh my gosh, are they gonna like me? Are we gonna have anything in common? Who are these women? But when I was able to like breathe with myself before the women came, I always make sure everything is set up in advance and that I have ideally 15 minutes before circle starts to drop in with myself. So I played my crystal singing bowls and I did some singing myself and just dropping into my breath and letting any of that like nervous energy just release so that when they come to the door, I'm not frantically trying to still set things up or get the music to connect or whatever. Give yourself the gift of spaciousness. That's the best thing that you can do as a host, because your energy that you greet them with, it sets the tone for the rest of the circle. I hope you're feeling inspired to go to a circle or to even be so brave as to host one on your own. I could honestly make this my full-time job of just hosting circles. It's so beautiful to be witnessed in your shares. And I want to bring it back to the two women last night who shared that things that were happening in their life were killing them. No one jumped in to say, oh my God, how can I fix it? What do you need? They just got to be witnessed. They got to be listened to. They probably have not shared that with the people who are closest to them in their lives because they might be holding a lot for those people. But in this room, they got to be held in sharing. And that's what Circle does. It makes space for the truest thing in the room to come to surface. And if you're one of the women out there who is tired, Mama, this one is for you. You do not have to keep carrying it alone, okay? You don't have to be in this alone. You get to have space to share, to connect with other women, and to see that your experience isn't that different than everyone else's. I'm amazed at every circle of how similar we all are. And we think just because we're isolated in these four walls that we're so special, that we're so unique, that our challenges are like no one else could understand this. But sister, we get it. And we see you and we want to see you. So, if you're feeling a pull to create something like this in your life, or even just to have this with your best friend, with your bestie, you don't even have to create a whole gathering. You could just tell your best girlfriend, hey sis, I just need to be heard. Can I take 10 minutes just to tell you how I'm really doing? I don't want you to fix it. I don't need you to jump in and save me. I just want to share this and be witnessed in it. That's all you got to do. It's so easy. It's free. It's a gift, a true gift, women gathering. The world really does not need more women to be perfect and to perform and to do a good job. We need more rooms where that's off the table, where the raw and the realness is welcomed. And that's what I'm here for. Speaking of all of that, I am going to be off to Spirit Weavers gathering in Oregon. Talk about a women's circle. This is like 1,000 women gathering on the land, bathing in the river, doing skills workshops and shares, song circles, dancing, putting our feet on the ground. Oh, I cannot wait. I've never been before, but this whole month of June is going to be totally transformative, because after that I'm going to Earth Daughters, which is essentially the same as Spirit Weavers in Canada. And then I'm going to a very special training in New York City that I will share more about on another episode. But come July, I'm going to be a changed woman, mark my words, and I can't wait to bring everything that I am learning and experiencing into circles and into my direct experiences with women and helping them to see their radiance and their shine, because the world needs it. The world needs your lights. Women have such a gift of light that we carry inside of us. I feel like part of my purpose here in this 3D earth, this 3D reality, is to help women remember that, because God knows I've been helping myself remember it, and it's been a journey. So I am so honored to walk alongside this path with you, and can't wait to hear about the circles that you all are hosting. Please let me know. You can sign up for my email newsletter or my online women's community, which you'll find in the show notes. And I would love to chat with you all. So until next time, many, many blessings, sister. Go gather.